back to my channel. So for today's video I wanted to do a bit of a life update. As you might have noticed, I have been quite quiet on here lately, and that is because there has been a lot going on, good and bad, and because I'd not figured out how to talk about this, I ended up just going very quiet because it felt weird making videos on anything else when this is just the biggest thing going on in my life at the moment. I'm going to try and keep this video quite short, and I'm going to try and not be emotional about things, but I cannot promise that will happen. So last month, as most of you will know, I started my first round of Clomid, which is a fertility medication. I found that cycle really difficult. I was having kind of regular scans at the fertility hospital, and at first it looked like Clomid wasn't working for me. I won't go into too much detail about that because I did film a whole Clomid diary, which I will probably upload after this. So it looked like it wasn't working for me, and I was very emotional about that. Clomid had a much bigger effect on my mood and everything than I was expecting. I actually felt extremely down whilst on Clomid. Every negative emotion you seem to have is like heightened by a million when you're on Clomid. Like, it's amazing how literally one cycle, 5 days of that medication can completely alter your mood and make you so erratic and hormonal. Anyway, that will be covered more in my Clomid diary. The point of this video is that on cycle day 28 I took a pregnancy test, and that pregnancy test was positive. Obviously, after, you don't expect to be lucky enough for your first cycle of something like that to work anyway, but especially after how the doctors had felt the cycle was going for me, the feedback was very negative on how my body was reacting, and I just did not expect that in a million years. So I'm pregnant. I'm 5 weeks, 4 days today. I want to be happy. I am happy. I feel very lucky that it worked for me for the first time. But I cannot tell you how terrified I am that this is going wrong again. So I woke up on Saturday morning, today is Monday, and I should say I'd been having cramps, like pretty substantial cramps, since before I even found out I was pregnant. That's why it was such a shock. I thought my period was coming because it felt exactly like my period was going to arrive. And I know cramps can be normal, so I was trying not to get too panicked about them, but having had 3 previous miscarriages, the cramps are terrifying. But I was finding comfort in the fact I'd had no bleeding, and trying to convince myself that everything was normal and trying to be positive that this was going to be our chance. Then on Saturday morning I woke up and went to the toilet and I noticed some bleeding, which again, they say bleeding can be normal, spotting can be normal, and it wasn't a lot of blood, and it was brown, which means old blood. There wasn't a lot, but spotting and cramps don't tend to go hand in hand in a positive way. You can have one or you can have the other, and they say that can be normal, but it's rare that you hear about both being fine. I'm still experiencing a little bit of the bleeding now, but nothing too bad. Sorry, this video is going to be all over the place. I'm still experiencing some bleeding now, but nothing really bad. But I still have a lot of cramps, and it's really scaring me. I wanted to be able to do a video where I was like, surprise, I'm pregnant, and like you know, have that kind of pregnancy announcement that you always dream of, but I just feel like miscarriage just takes that away from you, like the fear. I feel so scared and so on edge, and I just have this horrible feeling that it's happening again, and there's nothing I can really do to find out if it is until I have my scan. I've got a scan a week today, so on the 27th I have an early scan at the fertility hospital. I rang the early pregnancy unit on Saturday when I noticed the bleeding, and because I'm receiving the HCG booster injections once a week, because I've had 3 previous miscarriages and they couldn't figure out why it happened, I was eligible to have these weekly HCG booster injections when I next found out I was pregnant. So I've been having those. I've had 2 so far. This Wednesday will be my 3rd injection since finding out I was pregnant. And because I'm having those, they can't do a normal HCG blood test to kind of see how your levels are going, whether your levels are dropping, whether your levels are doubling like they should be, because I'm artificially having that hormone injected, so it wouldn't be a true reflection of what my body's actually doing. My levels could still say they were doubling, but I could still technically be miscarrying. Like, until I have that scan, we don't know what's going on inside, and being in this limbo is like nothing I've ever experienced before. I feel so lucky. I really don't want anyone else that's experiencing infertility to watch this and think I'm being ungrateful, because to be pregnant is all I have wanted for so long. It's all I've wanted. But I'm just so scared that it's going to be taken away from me again. I knew I'd be scared this time. I did. But I hadn't quite anticipated how scared I would be. I'm literally petrified. I daren't go anywhere, do anything, because I'm just scared that something's going to happen and I'll blame myself. So I'm just sitting around all day doing nothing because I'm too scared to do anything, and then something go wrong and me blame myself, even though, you know, it wouldn't have anything to do with me walking to the shop or something. That's not gonna make you have a miscarriage. If you're gonna have a miscarriage, you're gonna have a miscarriage, and it's just how it is. So that's sort of where I'm up to at the moment. Just a bit in limbo. I have a week to go to see whether the bleeding progresses, whether it stays as it is. I've got to have my HCG booster on Wednesday like normal, and then a week today I'll have the scan and we'll find out what's actually going on in there. I'm so scared for that scan as well. Every time I've ever had a scan, they've always told me I've miscarried or I'm going to miscarry, and I just feel like I'm walking the plank, and I know what's going to happen. Obviously, please don't think I've written this baby off, because I really haven't. Like, there's always that hope that it's going to work, but I've also had 3 miscarriages before. In my last pregnancy I had a lot of brown spotting and a lot of cramping, and I did miscarry, so to have those symptoms again is very scary, and very unnerving, and I feel like I've been here before. I know people are going to say it's normal, it can be normal, but unless you've been through miscarriage, it's really difficult to understand the fear. I imagine any pregnant woman feels scared the first time they're pregnant, but when you've already lost a baby or babies, it's unexplainable how scary it is to be pregnant again. And I want this, and if I miscarried, I'm sure after a while I would want this again, and I would want to keep trying, because the positives of maybe one day having your baby far outweighs the negatives of having to go through this again and again. But there's just, the fear takes over every positive emotion you feel. So yeah, that's where I'm at really. I didn't do a Slimming World update on Friday because I've been completely off plan. I gained a pound on Friday. I've been completely off plan because when I'm stressed, I eat, and that is what I've been doing. I've been eating stuff I shouldn't be eating to try and make myself feel better, and it doesn't make me feel better at all. So I really need to get back in the zone with Slimming World, but I didn't want to make a Slimming World update on Friday and just be like having to pretend everything was great and oh, I just gained because I've been a bit naughty, and I just didn't want to film a video and have to pretend that I'd gone off track because I was going out all the time, or I was going off track because for no reason. Like, there's a lot going on and I need to get back in the zone with Slimming World, but also I need to try and look after myself, and yeah, this is so rambly. Let me know what you want me to do with the Clomid diary. Basically, I filmed, sorry if you can hear the wind as well, it's so loud. Basically, I filmed a Clomid diary, kind of filming critical points throughout the cycle, ending with my pregnancy test, which I thought was going to be negative, and it was positive, so it was a shock. There was a lot of ugly cry face going on. Let me know what you want me to do about that. Do you want me to upload it anyway, even though this pregnancy might not be viable, or do you want me to wait until I've had the scan and I know what's going on? Like, I'm happy to do whatever you guys want me to do with that. I don't want to upload it and everyone think everything's great when it might not be, and I could be losing this baby. But then I think it's really important as well because it was a full cycle of Clomid. It showed all the emotions, a lot of emotions that went with that cycle, and obviously it was a positive outcome. However long this baby decides to hang around, the Clomid was successful and it worked for me, and maybe those of you that are thinking of having Clomid or potentially going on it at some point might be interested to see how I found it. I would like to upload it because I put a lot of work into it, but I don't know. To do this big happy positive test and then potentially have to turn around after and tell you that it didn't work out would be upsetting. But I would tell you anyway, that's what this channel's about. I've been through three miscarriages and I'm still here, and it would be hard, but I would be okay again eventually. Takes you a long time to get over something like that and be in a place where you feel like you can try again, but eventually I would get there, Andrew would get there, and we would try again. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see that video? Will it just be depressing to see that video until we know what's going on? I don't know. This is so rambly. I'm going to leave it there, guys, because it's not been the happiest video, but I didn't feel like I could carry on making normal videos until I'd addressed the massive elephant in the room. And it's hard to be making these like I'm so happy videos when actually I feel terrified, and it really helps me to talk about it, and hopefully it helps some of you in similar situations to realise that it's completely normal to feel this fear, like pure fear. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Please cross your fingers for me. I don't know what's going to happen, but please just cross your fingers and hope that this little bean in there clings on, and that me and Andrew finally get our rainbow baby. Crossing my fingers for all of you guys who are trying, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.